Oh, I didn't see you there. The trick to this app that I'm discovering, you have to act like you're not that interested, right? I saw this video. This guy was doing this whole how to get people to be more engaged with your content or whatever, and like bring up like things in your my hairbrush looks kind of dirty, right? Bring up things, random things, so people can stop. It's almost like trying to get the attention of toddlers or something. And I'm like, oh yeah, no yeah. And it's kind of this like toxic relationship where if I appear to not be that interested in you, you're going to become now more interested in me. This guy's brushing his hair. He doesn't even care about what he has to say or if anyone's listening. I'm listening now. You've got my attention. It's kind of crazy how we've just normalized all this shit. Whatever. Now I can't help but see people doing their intros and they're sliding in and sliding out, that whole thing. And hey, you know what? It works. It grabs my attention. I got the attention of a goldfish too. There's a video I was actually going to make here. Does God want you to be rich? How do you know if God wants you to be rich? Does God want you to be rich? I don't know. Does God want me to be rich? Yeah, I think so. I think you have to, this is what this video is going to get into. I think that God considers being rich different than how we would consider it. Right? Like to be brought into the knowledge of who your Father is, that is what He wants to give you. I don't think that it would be a good thing for Him to give you a financial increase if you still have an impoverished mindset. So how do we get rid of the impoverished mindset? We don't. I think this is where we are found in our weakness. And where it says that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. If you do not have wisdom, go to God and ask for it. Which to me is actually kind of the beginning of wisdom, is to ask for it. The fear of the Lord is this reverence towards Him of like, I am in this place and I need you. Like there is a reverence. I see you as my God because I cannot be my own God. This will be the beginning of wisdom. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And so I would ask that you would ask Him for wisdom. But I see it in this day and age, we want shortcuts. We want things that just give us something that we can do so we can get our gains or whatever. And I'm like, I don't think it's going to work very well for you in this way. Because I think to actually become rich, you will have to become someone who doesn't believe that they are lacking. And to believe that is to be brought into the understanding that you are whole in Him. And this will cost everything that you learned in the dark. You will need a new understanding. So He doesn't just want to give you and me a bunch of money. He wants to, I believe this is true for me at least, bless me financially with me having the mindset, the container, the preparation, the origin story of the person who then is developed into this person that now can hold it and it's a blessing to them. Someone who believes they belong to the Father. Someone who knows that all things come from the Father. Someone who's rich in their understanding of how much the Father loves them. There's lots of people that have lots of money, but I wouldn't consider them rich. The more I live, the more I realize this, and I'm like, well, if I was put in a room with a bunch of millionaires and billionaires, I just don't know if I would consider these people very rich. But I consider myself very rich, which is very strange because I also feel like the poorest person. Because of this, and this is what it feels like for me, this preparation that I've been under, this process that I've undergone, where I have had such a heavy, impoverished mindset on me, so much so that my head has been cloudy and I have not been able to see myself. And I've gone to God in that, and I said, I don't understand this. What's this all about? And I think this was actually the beginning of being prepared to then be one who has a bank account with a bunch of zeros. because I am in need of the true richness that comes from the knowledge of how much I belong to him and he has me. I think this is where you will be set up. This is where I will be set up. You go to him and you ask him for this. He said, I'm going to give you something better. But I'm going to give, and like how a son receives an inheritance, I'm not going to give a slave an inheritance. I'm going to give a son an inheritance. And a lot of us have been born into darkness and have no idea of our sonship in him. I think sonship also applies to women as well. Daughtership. Basically, it's one who knows. This is why it takes the wilderness to get to the promised land, because you have to unlearn what you learned in Egypt. A lot of us have grown up and slavery has been normalized, and this impoverished way of thinking has been normalized. And the way in which we use money speaks to this. The way that we behave with money speaks to our understanding of ourselves. And so God has taken me to an impoverished place, a lack place. To show me my need. My need to know that I am his. My need to know that all things come from him. My need to know the truth. And I think at the right time, I will be given a bunch of zeros. But do I think that God is just like, and I saw a video about this, it's like God wants you to be rich. God doesn't want you to be poor. And it's like, well, I think God wants to change your definition of what poor is and what rich is, and give you the understanding, right? The fear of the Lord that comes with this wisdom of like, you can't get yourself from poverty to abundance. You can't get yourself from rags to riches. I can see people, how they have developed a way to incorporate God, I guess. Some do, some don't. Some mention him, some don't. But I wouldn't consider them that rich, because they don't know of the gravity, the real, and I feel like I can tell. But time will tell with that, because I'm kind of in a dark place. But it's the one who has elevated me, right? The one who has been with me in the low place has now elevated me to the high place. And the low place had a purpose. He was taking the impoverished mindset off of me in the low place. But I came to know of my need to know what he knows, which is where richness really is. My need to know him, which is where richness really is. And it's like a lot of people want the shortcut. They want to know how to get rich, and then they want God to co-sign it or something. And I'm just like, well, I think that he and you will have a different perspective on what rich is. It's not like I don't think that he has money in the picture, but that money will be put into the hand of someone who knows how the Father really feels about them. At least a substantial amount anyway. A great resource. It will be one who knows. So that is not a detriment to them. It's not someone who just won the lottery and had no preparation. And you see those things about people that win the lottery and they have no preparation, like it doesn't normally go well for them. They lose it quicker than they got it. That sort of thing. This is why God will prepare you. This is why God will take you and develop you. So one that can actually possess this. So that a longing fulfilled really is a tree of life. Right? So that the inheritance is passed from you to your children, to your children's children, and beyond. Because God don't play games whenever he plant things in the ground, bro. He doesn't play games. He builds structures that are sound. We want to build things that get there quicker, but he's like, no, this is like, it's going to fall over. Like you don't even know like what you're doing with this. And this is the part of me that meets you in that low place and says, I will take you up here, but not for the sake of taking you up here. And in fact, when it's all said and done, you will be more so invested in what my heart says, that you find it a fascination in the demonstration of my hands. Basically, what I give you will speak to what's in my heart concerning you, but your desire for the richness will be, how does he really feel about me?